What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Fox Den, welcome back to the vlog, and welcome to another assetry. Today we are installing the Dialed Dynamics GTR halos, whatever you want to call them, in my G37 taillights. These are going to look amazing, and shout out to my guy It's Saucy on Instagram for hooking me up with these. A lot of you may know, if you are looking to do this mod, that 90mm rings on Dialed Dynamics have been out of stock for months on end now, and they're still not in stock. But he hooked me up. I was able to get my hands on them, and I was also able to get my hands on them brand new for a very, very good price. So huge thank you to him. And yeah, we are going to install them. So yeah, we're gonna put these in, and it's basically gonna look like a four-door GTR. It's already got the GTR style headlights, so but it's gonna look great. So I'm really excited. We're also going to be blacking out the chrome trim on the inside of the light. So yeah, it's going to look really good. So I'm going to show you guys how to do it, and I'll be in depth as I can about it. But it's really pretty straightforward, to be honest. So yeah, let's get to work, because this is going to take a little bit of time. Alright, so here we have the G just kind of pulled forward out of the sun. It is stupid hot today, so we're going to actually be doing these down in my basement where it's nice and cool and the humidity is low. So first thing we got to do is remove the tail lights. Obviously, this is really easy. All we have to do is remove the clips that are not there. Well, there's one here. We'll pull those out, peel back this, and then there's three nuts back there, and then it just unplugs and comes out. Now I do have the Dialed Dynamics tail as turn modules in here. The previous owner actually put them in, so shout out to him. That saves me 50 bucks. So you will need the tail as turn modules for these halos to work properly. If you don't have them in, you're gonna have hyper flash. So make sure you get those. I'm just going along the trunk piece like this, just kind of popping out of its clips, just like that. Now we have access to the tail light screws, and those are definitely not 10 mil. And you can see there's the Dialed Dynamics tail as turn module, as I mentioned. And I did not know the previous owner actually put those in up until like a year ago, so pretty cool. Alright, now that we have our lights out, what we're going to do is remove this screw, and then all of these screws. There are 3 of them. And we're also going to remove this gasket. Alright, so what I did is I removed everything from here, including that. This is what comes off, and this is all going to be going. We're not going to be using this anymore. Here's our tail as turn module. The next step is to cut this open right along here with a Dremel. You gotta take your time doing that. Be very careful with it, and then that'll allow this to come off, and we'll be able to get our tail light apart. Alright, so we got our first housing apart, and just be very careful. There's the other piece, and now we just have to remove all these things. Just rip all this out. It's just some screws, and these are going to come out, these little pieces here. They'll just pop out, and then we're going to paint this, and then same for the other light. Alright, so here's one of the, I don't know what you'd call this, the inside piece, whatever. So we're going to remove all the stuff off the back of it. So once you remove this is what you get, and you can see there's nothing left. And then our halos are going to go right there, so we're going to move these next. Alright, so we just finished painting these up. Now we're going to let them dry for 24 hours or so, just to make sure they're dry before we, put them back in the housings. This is what they look like. They're looking really good. Obviously the paint is still wet, so it might change a little bit, but looking real good. And yeah, we'll continue on with the next step once these are dry. Alright, so these are all painted up now, and I've actually already tested them and have done some electrical stuff. I'll show you guys exactly what I did once they were in the car. It's actually pretty simple. So we are now installing the halos. This one has been installed already, and I actually just used some fishing line and tied it through. You can't see it, but that's the whole point. There's string wrapping around that, and I tied it to the back of the light, and that's not going anywhere, so that worked real good. So I'm going to do the rest I'm going to do this for the rest of the halos, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. But this is what it's going to look like, and once this is done, we can start gluing the lights back together and screwing this back to the whatever that back piece is called, the back of the housing. Alright, so we got the halos in and they're ready to go. I just used some fishing line and tied it around it. You can't even tell it's there, and it's nice and tight. Those are not going anywhere. And I have glued back together the first light, and it's looking really, really good. It needs to be polished out though, because I did kind of make a mess of the lens here, but looking really, really good. So now we're just going to get this one together and then let the epoxy dry, and then we're going to go around the housing with some silicone, let that dry, and then they will be ready to go back into the car as soon as I clean up the wiring and polish that up, and then yeah, we'll be done. Alright, so the lights are all sealed up, as you can see. So we're going to let the epoxy dry overnight. Tomorrow we're going to go around the housing with some silicone just to make sure we seal everything, and then they're going back in the car, and then all we got to do is finalize the wiring. I'm so excited, dude. It looks so good. So can't wait to see what it looks like. Alright, you guys, the lights are pretty much finished. I'm test fitting this one just to kind of see what it looks like, and dude, it looks great. They're a little messy. I did kind of shit them up a little bit while trying to put them back together. You can see the glue was a little messy, but that's because I didn't cut it straight. Make sure you cut it straight, and then you just glue it back together, and then this is what you get. So we're gonna bolt these in. I have the other light right there. We're gonna bolt them in, and then see what they look like, just, you know, off, and then we're gonna wire them up, and I'll show you guys how to do that. Alright guys, they are in, and sorry about the overexposure over here. I had to turn up my exposure so you can actually see these things in the garage right now. But dude, they look real good. We still have to hook up the wiring. I'm gonna rig it up real quick so that way you guys can see them light up. Yeah, they're looking real good. They do need a polish because I did mess them up a little bit, you know, gluing them together and all that, but it's hard to see on camera right now in the garage, but once we get it out later you'll see it. But yeah, they're looking real mean. So let's get this wiring hooked up. Alright, so let me take a second to explain the wiring. So you have your driver and you have your tail as turn. Obviously what I have here is not finalized. This is just so I can show you guys what you do. So you see this yellow wire? You don't need it. Just cut it off, whatever. And basically you tie your red to red, your black to black, and your white to the purple on the turn signal module. Now this would be the power for your driver. There is a connector on this which you cut off to expose these wires, and make sure you strip them, obviously, basic electrical stuff. You will tie this into the output of your tailless turn. So this part here plugs in the car. You don't have to do anything with this. Just plug it right in the car, and then you cut off the connector on the output of the Diode Dynamics module, and you cut off the connector on the power connector on the driver, and you connect those wires as I explained. Now these go to your halos. Now you will have two sets of wires. You just tie all your yellows together and all your blacks together right on here. So all your yellows will go to this yellow, all your blacks will go to this black, and it works. That's it. It's not hard. Just make sure you solder this together properly, heat shrink, whatever you got to do, and make it all nice. This is just temporary so I can show you guys what to do, and that's how you do it. It's really not that difficult as far as the electrical goes. It was a little, it can be a little confusing at first, but I did figure it out rather quick because I do electrical work. I had to know what wire was what, and this is all you guys really need to know is red to red, black to black, white to purple on your when you're hooking up your tailless turn to the driver. And then this just plugs in the car. So that's that. So now let's get this cleaned up and hooked up properly. You guys might get my guy Khalid here. He's gonna help us out. Alright, turn the lights on. And the camera's not really showing the actual color of these things, but they're nice and red. Press the brake. They get brighter. Yep. Signal, whatever one. Right signal. Go ahead and put on, there you go. And lights off. You got your foot on the brake, you can take it off. Oh yeah. Left signal. Right signal. And that's it. Those are the lights, the finished product. And then we'll get you guys some shots later on at night. and because I have some cleaning up to do. I have to get all the wiring tucked in, and yeah, they look really, really good. Hopefully you guys learn how to do it. As I said before, make sure you check out the link in the description for how I learned how to do it. That's a very good video. It's very in-depth. And yeah, what are your thoughts, Khalid?
Bro, they're nice. I low-key like them.
Hell yeah.
Might have to do it on mine, brother.
For real. Alright. Alright, so the lights are in. We're going to clean up this wiring, put our trim piece back on the car with those clips we talked about in the beginning, and then we will be done. And here are some nighttime cinematic shots. So that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Dude, they look great. Holy crap. And it's hard to see, obviously, right now. But you saw them. I don't know if I got any shots of them during the day, but whatever. You guys will see them, obviously, in future videos. That was so worth it. So worth the work. Just know if you do this yourself, it's very, very, very easy to break stuff. That plastic in there is so fragile, especially the... you know, the front of the light, whatever. It's very, very fragile. So if you do this, make sure you're careful. And honestly, I could see why people charge $800 to $900 to do these, because it's really a lot of tedious work, especially with that fishing line. That was just ridiculous how aggravating that was to me. But in the end, it was so worth it, and I'm sure I hope you guys like it. It looks great. I can't wait to be cruising around with these. I really, really love the look. They look great. It just looks really, really clean. A lot more clean than the stock LEDs. Don't forget to subscribe and join the Fox Pack today. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when we do something stupid. Follow our racing club at Silver Fox Racing Group and me on Instagram at Silver Fox G37 so you can see all the behind the scenes of the Acid Tree. Remember, life is too short to stay stuck, and it's only legal if you get caught. Stay Fox.